When you first begin watching the series, it's quite evident that the two main characters, Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith, are based on Doc Brown and Marty McFly from the Back to the Future franchise. And that's actually how it all began. Back in 2005, Justin Roiland produced an animated series known as House of Cosbys. This bizarre show is about a guy living with 100 clones of Bill Cosby. It premiered at the non-profit short film festival Channel 101, which was co-founded by Dan Harmon, who quickly took a liking to Roiland's sense of humor. But in June of the same year, they received a cease and desist letter from Bill Cosby's lawyer and were thus forced to end House of Cosbys. Because of this, Roiland decided to make a very obscene and crude parody of the Back to the Future movies, as a sort of joke or protest against Universal Pictures. He called the short The Real Animated Adventures of Doc and Marty.
I got my boots! I'm excited! Let's go! Let's get out of here!
Marty, we have a problem. The time travel car won't start.
Oh no! What can we do? What are we gonna do?
It was never intended to be anything more than a joke, but Roiland became really fond of his own impressions of the two characters and decided to explore this idea further. Many years later in 2012, Harmon was approached by Adult Swim to create an original animated show for the network. But Harmon, previously creating and working on Community, didn't have any real experience with animation at this point, so he immediately thought of Roiland. He gave him a call and Roiland promptly pitched the idea of using the Doc and Marty characters to produce a show titled Rick and Morty. In the episode Me Seeks and Destroy, we meet a disturbing character known as King Jellybean. This character, like Rick and Morty themselves, is actually from a previous animation that Roiland produced called Unbelievable Tales.
Welcome to Unbelievable Tales. We don't have a lot of time here. I'm sorry. I apologize.
In this animation, the character is known as Crumply Crumplestein and is even more grotesque than the version in Rick and Morty. One of the main reasons for the show being made in the first place was Roiland's distinct way of voicing both Rick and Morty. Long before the show began, it was a sort of inside joke among friends for Roiland to make these voices. It's been said that something that really makes the show unique is the way he's able to quickly switch between the two characters and improvise new lines and situations by essentially talking to himself. But this almost didn't happen because at first, Adult Swim didn't want him to be the voice of Morty. Instead, they were looking into other famous voice actors like Billy West and Tara Strong, but Roiland kept pushing his idea of voicing both characters and eventually he got his wish. The theme song for Rick and Morty actually comes from another animated show that Roiland also produced called Dog World.
My name is Peter Michaels. While on a camping trip with my brother Edmund and sister Sally, we were sucked through some kind of wormhole and transported to another world. Dog World. Now we live with...
It's about humans living in a world with intelligent talking dogs. It was supposed to air on Cartoon Network, but the project was never completed as Roiland simply had too many things in development at the time. All that remains today is the animatic version available online. The episode Lawnmower Dog in Rick and Morty also makes a lot of references to this incomplete pilot. For example, the family in Dog World has a human pet named Ruffles, and in this episode the dog known as Snowball, is mistakenly called Ruffles by Rick.
Alright, Ruffles. What's his name?
Snuffles?
Snuffles. Shake.
The father in each show is named Jerry after one of Roiland's real-life dogs. And then at the end of the episode, Rick and Morty makes a very clear and direct reference by saying this.
Wow, a whole world populated by intelligent dogs. I wonder what it'll be like, Rick.
I think it'll be great, Morty. You know, it could be developed into a very satisfying project for people of all ages. I mean, I'd watch it, Morty, for at least 11 minutes a pop. You know, maybe they'll do it board-driven.
You know, that's a real comforting idea, Rick.
What do you know, Morty?